Hello guys, welcome back to Coding with Bobby, and you're watching our Redux playlist. So we've already discussed in our previous playlist, in our previous videos, and also the to-do app, how Redux works and how the slicing works. So this is a clear example of how Redux is working. An action is dispatched, it is sent to the reducer, it updates the store, and then it is updated to the UI. Now, there's one particular thing. Uh, this Redux is built to work synchronously. When an action is dispatched, it is directly sent to the reducer. But what if we are making some asynchronous calls in our action? Then what happens? For that, we need to make use of Redux Thunk. And this is what our Redux Thunk looks like. So we'll just wait for it to start once more, and then we'll see how this is all working. Action, yeah. Now we have also got one API added here. So now the event is dispatched, right? And now we'll dispatch our action along with our thunk. Now there's some middleware function which will interact with our API, and this will return some response within some time, maybe a second or a minute. Now after that response is received, then it is sent to the reducer and the store is updated. So there is a delay. Now the meaning of the thunk is anything which has some delay. That is the actual meaning of thunk. Now, so we'll take one example of how we are making asynchronous call in our Redux and how we are making use of Redux Thunk, right? We'll follow this documentation along with it, and we'll also take this API, this JSON placeholder, which will return us some to-dos. So I've got one project ready, and we'll just make our app. So I'll just create one folder Redux, and we'll take store.ts, and we'll have one Redux provider.tsx, and then we'll have one slices, and we'll have one to do slice.ts. Now we'll import our create slice. Okay, we need to install reactjs toolkit and react redux. Okay, I made it wrong. And that is Redux. Yeah, let's just wait. Okay, now it's already installed. We'll just import create slice, and we'll also import our create async thunk. We'll see how this works. So now this to do, how it looks like, it's an array, and it's an array of objects, and in one object we have got user ID, we have got ID, title, and completed. We'll only take the ID and title for us. So we'll just create one type, and this will be type to do, which is going to be ID, which is string, and we'll take title, which is string again, like that. And then we'll create an initial state type of our to do state, or we can even name it root state. Now what this will contain? This will contain our to dos, and our to dos will be a array of to do, right? And after that, this will have one we'll say error, just to store our error messages, right? And this is going to be a string which can be undefined as well, and we'll also have one status. Status can be loading, or it can be success when the to-dos are loaded, or it can be fail. And we'll need to give an or just to define the type, and this will be like that. Yeah, now we'll have an initial state, which is our to-do state, and this will be to-dos, which is an empty array for now, and we'll have one status which is loading initially, and we'll have one error which is going to be undefined. Now what we'll do when our app starts, we'll make one call to this API, and after that, first of all, the status would be loading, and once we make a successful request, the status should be changed to success, otherwise it should be fail. So now we'll create our async thunk, or the main asynchronous function where we're making the API call. So we'll just name it as const fetch to dos, and this is going to be a create async thunk, and inside that what we can put is we need to give in the name. like I'll just name it as to do slash fetch to do's, like that. And now here we need to provide our actual function async. This is an async function, and we'll just put in try and catch for the error, and we'll just throw this error exactly like that. And we'll just what we'll do, we'll just make the API call using fetch. And so const response we'll take is going to be await and fetch, and inside fetch we'll put in this, yeah, like this. And we'll just check, if not response dot okay, that means we haven't got the response. Then we'll send one error, throw new error, could not fetch to do's, right? And what else we can do, otherwise we'll take the to do's, and const to do's is going to be response.json, and we'll just return to do's, like that. So this way what we are doing is we are just fetching all the to do's or the array of the to do's, and then we are just converting it into our JSON, and then we'll just return it like that. And if the response is not 200, in that case we'll just throw new error like this. Now we'll see how we are creating our slice. There would be some difference here. Let's just check that out. Const to do slice, and this would be like create slice, and first of all will be our name, which will be to do, and after that we'll give in our initial state, and then reducers. Now in this case there won't be any reducers, yeah, though we need actions and reducer for fetch do tos, but as they are part of our async thunk, they are some asynchronous functions, so we'll put them in extra reducers. And now in extra reducers we'll also see our documentation how this is actually working. Okay, we'll just go down, yeah, like that. This we have already seen. I think documentation is the best way to learn anything, and especially for anything related to React, Redux, I only follow the documentation. Yeah, we are on it. Yeah, like that. So this is our reducers. Fine, we'll just wait for the async thunk. Okay, we have created async thunk. Nice, and we'll just go down. Okay, this is how they are making the dispatch from our page, actual page in our React application. Yeah, and this is our actual case how we are making use of the extra reducers. So this extra reducers has got one builder input, right? So we'll just take it, yeah, builder, like that. Or we can, what we can do, we can just directly copy it as well. Extra reducers, yeah. So now what to do is, see, it has one inbuilt input which is builder, and with builder we need to add every case. Now every case as in first of all builder dot add case. I'll just write this one out, builder and dot add case. And what we'll do, we'll take it our function, the async function, we'll pass in fetch dot to do's, and this will be, see, all the async functions, they return one promise, and now the promise has three states. One would be rejected, one would be fulfilled, and the other one is pending. Yeah, so we have got fulfilled and rejected, and this is pending. That means the request is currently ongoing. It has neither been successful nor been unsuccessful. So what we'll do, we'll just take state and action, and now state and action we need to take. This is our actual reducer where we are making the change, as we do in the reducers as well. And now what we'll do, we'll just set state dot status is equal to loading, like that. Action anyways we don't need because we are not getting any payload in here, right? And now this fulfilled, this will be called as the request goes, and this will be called when request is success, and this will be called when request is failed, right? So what we'll do, status is going to be our success, right? And we'll pass in our function fetch to do's and state dot to do's is going to be our action dot payload. Yeah, because this is the action dot payload that we will be receiving, right? And fetch to do's and rejected. In case of rejected, we'll just change the status to fail, and we'll do, yeah, this is fine, action dot error dot message. Like in this case, when I'm throwing this error, so this will give me action dot error and dot message, which will be this, like that. So this is what our reducer or actions would look like, actually our slice would look like. And now what we can do, we can just export const. We'll export all the actions to do slice dot actions, and we'll do export default to do slice dot reducer. And apart from this, we'll also export the state type. So we'll do initial state type, which is to do state. Export type, and this is to do state. Yeah, or better, what we'll do, export type root state, and we'll take it as return type, and we'll name it to do slice. One second. What we'll do, we'll take to do slice dot reducer. Okay, it better should give me, okay, return, yeah, type of, and to do slice dot reducer. So this will, though we can even export this initial state to do state as well, otherwise this is also fine. This will give me the type of what we say, the state which reducer is making updates to. Now we'll move on to our store. So we'll import configure store, and we'll also import our reducer. Import to do reducer from slices, and we'll take to do slice. Now we'll create our store, configure store, and reducer, which is going to be to do reducer, and we'll just export it like that. Now next we'll create our Redux provider. We'll just take this layout. I'll get rid of these first. I don't need any for now, and we'll be making changes. I'll just get it done, and yeah, I'll just remove it, the class name as well, and we'll just copy it, Redux provider, and I'll name it Redux provider. And we don't need this, and we need our provider to connect our store to the React application, and we also need the store, import store. And now in the body we'll have one div, and we'll have one provider which will take store, and we'll have children, like that. Now inside this we need to wrap it around our Redux provider, as we have already done in our previous videos. We need to import Redux provider and this Redux provider. Okay, and what I'll do, I'll just wrap this children around our Redux provider, and we'll just take in children, like that. Easy. And now let's check our page. I don't need all of this. I'll just get rid of these, and I'll just make one heading, to do's, like that. And now what we need to do, we need to dispatch some action. We'll use client first of all. And now what else, we need to import our action, and that would be our fetch to do's. Import fetch to do's. Okay, let me just fetch to do from at Redux slices and to do slice. Yeah, so fetch to do is done. Okay, one second. Let me just go back to our to-do slice and let's just check here. Yeah, so we'll just do it as export const. Yeah, boom. And now we need our use selector to get the state, and we also need the use dispatch for it. And you should be small one, this one. And we'll also take use selector in that case. And what else? Okay, first we'll get the state. Now state will have to do's. State would be exactly this what we have defined here, which will be to do, status and error, right? So to do's, status and error, which will come from our use selector, which is going to take state, and state is going to come from our root state, and we'll take root state. And now this will return us, we'll just pass in state. Yeah, this will give me the to do's as well. And now what we'll do, now we'll see if our status is equal to loading. In that case, now if the status is loading, we'll just what we'll do, we'll just type in loading, and if the status is fail, in that case we'll just pass in our error. And if the status is success, in that case what we can do is we'll just have one list, and we'll just map over our to do's dot map to do and this, and we'll just give in to do dot, I think we have got title. Yeah, so we'll just name in, we'll just give in to do dot title, like that. Okay, we can just return it, that's what it wants. Key prop for element. Okay, we'll also have then to do, and li we'll have one key is going to be to do dot id, like that. And boom, this is it. So now we need to make sure that every time the app is loading, we are making call to our fetch to do's. So for that we'll have one const dispatch for our use dispatch, and we also need to give in okay, not now, we'll see it when. What else I'll do, I'll just import our use effect. Now use effect is like whenever our app is mounted or it is rendered, if we want to make certain what we say calls or actions, that time we make use of use effect. So now I'll just do use effect, and use effect. Now this takes a function and a dependency. Now if you have got multiple state variables, like suppose you have got one name, so every time when the name will change, this function will run. Here we can just pass in dispatch. Whenever something is dispatched from our app, that time it has to recall this action, whatever I will pass in this. So I'll give in dispatch and fetch to do's, like that. Now there is one error that we need to define the type. For defining the type, what I'll do, I'll just import the store, and store is imported. And now what I'll do, I'll just name const app dispatch is type of store dot dispatch, and we'll just pass in our app dispatch here, or we'll just name it type, like that. So I guess this is all it. And in Redux provider as well, we need to put in use client, and we'll just try to run it. npm run dev, and this has started. We'll just go to our local host now. Okay, this is loading. It's in loading state for now. Let's just check this state. Okay, state is not yet loaded for now. It shows undefined. Maybe we'll just do it once more. Okay, maybe we've got some error at this end. Let's just check this once. Okay, so the problem is we haven't actually called the function. We've just named it out and it has compiled. Now let's just check this out. Okay, works fine, and we'll just, yeah, you see there's one loading when the request is actually going in there. And okay, we'll just check the Redux store here once. Yeah, so you see twice when we loaded the request has gone, and this is our, we can see this is the payload that we got from the this JSON placeholder, right, this site. And what else, if we check the state once, okay, there's some issue with this Redux tree as such with this library, but you can see the actions going on here, and these are the to-dos that we have received, which is actually these. And we can just reload it once just for the check once more, like that. I'll just see once more if we can see. Okay, there's some issue over here, some serious issue with the Redux dev tools, but fine, we've got it working. And we'll just see once more if we just change the fetch to-dos to our some maybe like this, and let's just run it. Failed to fetch because there is no such URL. So this is how Redux Thunk works when we are making some async call. That time our Redux is not meant to work asynchronously, it is only meant to work synchronously. So we need to make some delays using Thunk. So thank you for watching this. Thanks a lot.